Novak, congratulations. You must be pleased of the way you won that one. Like the level of play was really high. That must be also reassuring for the next match.
Well, yes. I mean, I was coming into today's match knowing that I'm going to play a player who is very quick and takes away a lot of the time from his opponent and just likes to go for his shot. So I knew that coming into a match, if I managed to sustain that speed of his shots, so to say, and his game style, that I'll have my chance kind of to break through and to make him feel uncomfortable and start making errors, and that's what happened. I thought in the important moments I came up with some good second serves, good first serves. I was returning well. I was putting constantly pressure on him, trying to move him around the court and take away the rhythm from him, so to say. Not give him the same look always. The match was really, really good from my side.
Novak, what are your thoughts on all that's gone into Juan Martín restoring what was once such a promising career?
Well, I personally like him very much, not just as a player, but as a person. He's a dear friend and someone that I respect a lot, and we all felt for his struggles with injuries that kept him away from the tour for 2-3 years. But he was always a top 5 player in eyes of, I think, everyone. Even when he was dropped his ranking, obviously, and started to work his way up. But we all knew that he has a capacity and a quality to get to the point where he is at the moment, and it was just a matter of time. So I saw today before the match against Nadal a stat that he's the player that made most wins against number ones of the world. I mean, that that shows the quality that he has, especially in the big matches. And he's a big-time player. He's a big match player. He's a Grand Slam winner. And he's playing tennis of his life, without a doubt, in the last 15 months. I think it all kind of started for him with Rio Olympic Games. That's where he got, I feel like, a great confidence boost. And obviously, he played ever since, very consistent on the big tournaments, and that's what made him now number 3 of the world. And he's working his way up, and he's playing really some powerful tennis.
You first played him here in 2007. What is the biggest difference in his game now and his hairstyle? He's changed a little bit.
His hairstyle, it's a tough one. I really don't remember his hair being any different color. I think maybe the length. But he always possessed that big forehand. I mean, that's big serve, big forehand. His game kind of revolves around that. And backhand, he has alternated his backhand over the years because of the left wrist injury. But I think now he's more comfortable with it, because when he was coming back from surgery, he struggled a lot with the high balls or low balls and trying to kind of play very flat. And now it seems like he's found the range. And I think that for someone his height, he's anticipating and moving really well around the court. He's a smart player. He prepares his tactics well, but he always relies, of course, on a big first serve and big forehand. It's one of the biggest forehands I think ever, in the history of this game. Down the line, he can hit it cross, he can hit any angle. So that's the big weapon.
You mentioned Juan Martín's big serve, big forehand. What will be the key for you in countering that?
Well, counter to that, I guess. Big return and some good backhands. I've played him. I've played him many times on different occasions. We've never faced each other in a Grand Slam final, so that's something new. But I know what's expecting me, and I'll try to prepare myself as best as I can. One of the keys of the match will be return. How well can I return how many returns I can get back in play, but also try to have some depth in that return, you know, and how well I can also, and how accurately I can serve myself. You know, I think that's very important, because when you play a big server like Del Potro, you know, you feel pressure also in your service games. So, so yeah, I mean, there are few other things that that I have in mind, knowing him from the matches we previously played against each other. I'll try to take that in consideration and get myself ready.
You had been able to avoid surgery until this year, and the elbow problem you've been dealing with. How, as you now have a chance to win a second consecutive Grand Slam title, reflect a little bit about maybe how worried you were about getting back this quickly to your top abilities where we've seen you in the past, and also does it maybe give you a little more empathy or appreciation for what other players like Juan Martin have
I'll answer the second part of your question first. It absolutely gives me empathy, and you know, even before I went through the whole process of surgery and post-surgery recovery, I was still, you know, feeling for players that went through the injuries. One of my best friends, someone I grew up with, Janko Tipsarevic, who was, you know, top 10 player 2 years in a row. Ever since then, you know, when he was top 10 till now, it's been what, 4 years, and he's still not able to be healthy on the court. And you know, I've been with him through that process and still going through. I know what he, you know, how difficult it is for him with Del Potro and, you know, some other players, especially players that were away from the tour for longer periods of time with injuries. I mean, I can relate to that. I mean, I was fortunate not to be too long away, but I did carry my injury for over 2 years, so I understand, you know, what the player goes through. And I believed always, it was always part of me that I believed that I can come back, you know, relatively quickly to the level of tennis that I, you know, once was playing. But I, at the same time, felt like the 6 months off served me very well to kind of find new motivation, inspiration, to you know, recharge my batteries, and to also understand, you know, how I, you know, want to continue playing tennis, in which way, whether there are certain changes that I want to make with my racket and my game itself. You know, I had more time to work on certain things. Unfortunately, I couldn't serve because I still had that pain, but all the other shots I could really work on. So that's I think sometimes nice to have, even though you don't want to be injured, but at the same time it allows you to have, you know, more periods of time where you can focus on certain elements in your game, or things that usually you don't have time to reflect on, because once you're in the tennis season, it feels like a machine. You know, you keep on going, and it's never ending.
What's your relationship with the US Open final? Because you've got there so many times, but it hasn't always gone your way.
Yes, well, I've probably seeing the results and, you know, consistency of the results that I've had here probably has been my most successful Grand Slam. Of course, I mean, I won Australian Open 6 times and never lost finals there, but I've played, you know, more than, I think, 10 semifinals here, and it's, you know, it's definitely one of my favorite tournaments to play, because of the conditions and because of the fact that I've played so well, and each year that I keep on coming back to the US Open, I know, you know, that I feel very comfortable here, so it just allows me to feel more confident playing and starting the tournament and going through it. And yeah, I mean, I think I have two finals won and 5 losses, but, you know, hopefully I can get one better in a few days.
Novak, how fun is it to win a match with such a great shot like that? Does it add a little?
Yeah. Well, it does feel good. It does feel good.
So you said you came to today's match with right intensity. So how could you talk about the importance?
Sorry, can you repeat again?
So you said you came to the match today
Yes.
with right intensity. So could you talk about the how important the intensity is, especially when you play someone like Nishikori?
Yeah, well, it's very important, but I think what is more important is controlled intensity, you know, because you don't want it to be too hyper, you don't want to be too flat, so you just have to find the right balance. For every player, it's different. So, you know, I know myself, obviously, very well, and I try to use the experience when playing in these big matches, and I've had that many times before, and I've played Kei main test before, so it's a combination of things, you know, obviously to start off the match well, you know, to prepare yourself to be you know, feeling good about your game, about your day, to be positive, come out, have the right game plan, and you know, and execute. You know, the second part to actually execute it well is more difficult one, but I think experience helps.
Last two, Sandy.
You've twice won Wimbledon and the U.S. Open. Both times you won here. You might do that again. Talk about that challenge and how hard it is to win both in such a short period of time.
Well, I mean, these are the pinnacles of our sport. You know, majors. That's where you want to play your best. You know, there's something special about them. You know, you have 2-week-long event and best of 5, and players, especially the top players, they always try to you know, set their own form, so to say, around the Grand Slams, because that's where they want to play their best. And you know, I've been doing that myself as well, and I've been fortunate to really have plenty of success in Grand Slams in the past and played many finals. But as I said, you know, I really like playing in US Open and Wimbledon as well. Obviously, this year is quite different from the previous 2-3 years for me because of, you know, the surgery, the injury, and time off the tour, and, you know, trying to make the comeback and build my ranking and everything. So the Wimbledon title definitely helped a lot, you know, in terms of approach to the US Open Series tournaments, the win in Cincinnati, and of course the US Open itself.
Novak, you've known Juan for quite a while. You're close. He's so beloved. Reminds me a little bit of maybe Guga Kurten, just a bit. But what makes him so special as a person that he connects with so many everywhere?
Well, I mean, he's a gentle giant. He really is. You know, he's very tall and has a big game, but at the same time, he nurtures the right values in life, and he cares about his family, he cares about his friends, he respects everyone, he fights, you know, every match from the first to the last point, and I think people can relate to that, and they appreciate what, you know, what he brings to the tennis, and you know, he treats others as the way he wants others to treat him, and I think that's why people love him.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Novak.
Thank you.